So if you sum all these four broad items, so I saved approximately 21 lakhs not buying a car. I saved approximately 1.2 crores by not taking an educational loan. I saved approximately 2.82 crores by not buying a house. And finally, I saved approximately 21 lakhs by being frugal with my expenses just over in a decade. Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So on today's video, I'm going to answer one of the most important questions or one of the most frequent questions that you guys ask me, which is that, hey Akshat, how are you able to invest so much in cryptos and stock markets, in commercial real estate and bunch of different assets that you're owning. So every week or every month you show us like lakhs and lakhs of investments that you're making. How are you able to do it? On this video, I'm going to show you how am I able to do it. And there are a lot of things that you can pick up from this video and start incorporating in your life. So this is going to be a super practical video. Please watch it till the very end. Only then it would make sense. And also press the like button. Do it now. Really important. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. It allows this video to reach to new people who also get financially educated. So your help will be deeply appreciated. So with that said, let's get the video started. And here is the golden rule that I follow in my life. And the golden rule goes something like this. That if there is a big ticket item and if that big ticket item will not help me make more money, I will not spend money on that big ticket item. Super complex statement. So let me break it down for you. It simply means that if I am trying to buy something which is expensive, I will only buy that expensive thing if it helps me make money. That's it, plain and simple. This is the golden rule that I have followed in my life since the age I was 12 or 13, and my grandfather taught me this rule. So I'm teaching that rule to you. So let me break this statement down in this entire video, and I am predominantly going to do two things. One, I'm going to show you things on which I have not invested my money on, and I will explain you the rationale. And by not investing in these things, how much money have I saved up until this point, which I now invest? Second, I'm going to show you things on which I have invested my money right towards the end of the video, which has allowed me to make more money subsequently in my career. So these are two broad topics that I'm going to cover next, and I'm going to give you facts and numbers to back it up. So let me talk about things on which I have not invested my money. So the first item there is owning an expensive car. So the general rationale is, especially in the middle class, so I also belong to a middle class family, and the general rationale is that the moment you start working, you would be like 22, 23, and your first investment would be either go buy a car if you are making good salary, or go take a home loan and keep paying EMI. This is the general philosophy that people have. Tell me in the comments box if I am correct or not. So when I started working, of course, there was like things like that, hey, go buy a new car. My friends were buying new cars. So of course I got a little bit enticed, but I kept my grandfather's advice in mind that don't spend your money on expensive purchases unless they help you make more money, right? So this is the simple rule that I followed. So if I have to buy a luxury car, a decent luxury, in fact like basic entry level luxury car, it would have at least costed me around 15 lakhs, right? Now I purchased a basic car which was 6-7 lakhs approximately. So how much money did I not invest when I was 23? Approximately 8 lakhs, right? The difference between a expensive luxury car and a basic car, 8 lakhs. That if I saved 8 lakhs, so I'm putting 8 lakhs for a period of 10 years, because I'm 33 now, I would have purchased this car at 23. So 10-year period, and let's assume even 10% return, right? Nifty 50 on an average in the last 20 years has given approximately 12.2% return. I'm just assuming 10% return. So what is the future value of this investment? So it comes out to be approximately 20.74 lakhs, approximately 21 lakhs. This is a conservative estimate. So how much money did I save by not buying a car? So I saved approximately 21 lakhs by not owning a car. So this is the first key item that I did not purchase that has helped me make 21 lakhs. Let's move on to the second item. The second item was the MBA fees. Many of us want to study abroad, many of us want to study at elite colleges, and we end up incurring a lot of expenses. Now, before I go further on this point, let me quickly establish the difference between good debt and bad debt. So good debt means that, hey, you are making an investment, you are taking loan, you are making that investment, and this investment helps you make more money in the future. This is good debt, and taking debt for education would qualify as good debt from that perspective. Bad debt would be that, hey, you are buying an iPhone on a loan and paying EMI every month, and the value of that iPhone keeps on going down every passing year. So that is a bad debt to take. If you have cash and if you buy it, no problem. But don't buy an iPhone on a loan. That is a bad debt. Now coming back to the topic of good debt. So in my case, I ended up going to an institute called as INSEAD Business School. It is usually ranked in top 5 business schools in the world consistently for last several years. I'm talking about in the world, not in India. So it's one of the top ranked institutes. It's a short format program. It only lasts for up to a year. Back then, I also had the option of attending top elite colleges in the US as well. So I had admissions to both US colleges and INSEAD. I picked INSEAD because INSEAD was giving me a lot of scholarship. So I got scholarship which was worth somewhere around 60 lakhs in total. So I saved that money. I rather invested that money. Now, if I make an investment of 60 lakhs for a period of approximately 7 years, and even if I assume a 10% growth rate, it comes out to be approximately 1.17 crores, right? So I approximately saved 1.17 crores. Now, there are very quick points and disclaimers that I would like to give here because you will get swayed in another direction. So when I decided to do an MBA, the objective there was not just to save money. I was doing an MBA from an investment perspective. Now, on one hand, I had the option of going to INSEAD. On the other hand, I had the option of attending schools like Stanford, Wharton. I picked INSEAD for the simple reason that, hey, I'm getting equally good education at both the places. I wanted to work in management consulting. Both the places gets me in management consulting. I wanted to work abroad. Both the places help me work abroad. So from that perspective, going to INSEAD made a lot more sense to me. But please do not assume the fact that because I just wanted to save money, therefore I went to INSEAD. No, you have to consider the fact that when you lump schools like Wharton, Stanford, INSEAD, Harvard, Columbia, Chicago Booth, all these schools would fall in category A type of schools. And if one of these schools was giving me massive scholarship, then I will think about money. So first I thought about my career that, hey, where will I get the best career growth prospects? All these schools, approximately same career growth prospects. Then I came to the money part of it. That, hey, okay, fine. If I go to INSEAD, I will save a lot of money. Therefore, let's go to INSEAD. So this is how I made that decision. And I hope this helps you understand my decision-making matrix. Now, my third decision point, which has helped me save a lot of money, was not buying a house. Now, once I had worked, I had gotten into INSEAD, gotten a good job, gotten a decent car, then guess what? What my parents would ask me to do. My parents would have asked me, and this is true in almost all of our parents' case, that they would ask you to buy a house, take an EMI, buy a house, this, that. So how do we do a computational analysis of this? So I would have bought a house when I was like approximately 27, 28, right? That is when I started making decent amount of money. So I would have purchased a house back then, right? And then I can take, and now I'm 33, so approximately 5-6 years time difference. Now, if I look at the growth rate of the house, an asset in which I would have invested, vis-a-vis the other assets in which I have invested, the difference between these two would tell me how much money would I have lost if I would have purchased a house. So let me show some numbers to you first. So if we try to estimate how much the housing prices have risen over the last decade in India, it will differ from city to city, but let's try to estimate that. Now here is an article on Economic Times, and you will see that the housing prices jumped up by 38% in last decade. You will get super impressed. But it's a 10-year growth. That total increase has been 38% over a 10-year time span. This is not like per year growth rate. Please remember that, and this can be confirmed by looking at this particular paragraph. So Pune saw the maximum rise of 67% during the last decade in total, right? The average price in Pune was rupees 3,300 per square feet in 2010, and it rose to 5,500 in March 2020. So if you take the average CAGR, this will come out to be less than 5%, but let's assume the housing growth rate at 5%. So let's assume that I bought a house in Pune in the last decade and I invested certain bit of money. Even the growth rate on that house would have been not more than 5%. With me, now you would say that Akshat, you would have purchased a house in some village or tier 3 city. No, because I was working, so I would have purchased a house somewhere in a metro, right? So therefore, let's pick Pune, the best housing market. Absolute best housing market. So I would have purchased out of, let's say, approximately 2 crores. I don't know the house prices in Pune. I'm comparing it to Delhi. That is where I live. So approximately 2 crores. And what is the difference between investing in equity? What is the growth rate there? 10%. And growth rate in housing 5%. So I'm making 5% return on that 10 crore period for a period of how many? Approximately 6-7 years. So this gives me a future value of 2.82 crores. What this simply means is that, hey, if I had 2 crore rupees, I took the decision of going and buying a house in Pune when I was 27, 28. I would have put that money there. Vis-a-vis, picking up this same money and putting it in a stock market, what would have been my loss? It would have been 2.82 crores. I'm glad I did not make that mistake and I rather invested that money in equities. So I saved approximately 2.82 crores. Now comes fourth and final section. We can call it miscellaneous section. I have made a separate video on my millionaire habits and this is a video that you can check. This outlines the type of stuff that I usually refrain from buying. And just to add to that, what I would simply leave you with here is that we get into the habit of buying super expensive stuff. We will buy luxury phones. We will go and dine out 3 times a week. We will buy like really expensive cars. We will go and buy really fancy dresses, so on and so forth. So there is no end to it. So I have lumped everything together as miscellaneous expense. So I would have at least incurred 10,000 rupee a month additional incremental expense if I was not frugal in my approach. So with that said, let us try to compute that how much money did I save in total if I was looking at saving just how much? 10,000 rupee, and I would have again invested that at how much? 10% for a period of 10 years. So here I have taken an SIP mode of investment. So 10-year period. So I would have saved how much? So I would have saved approximately 21 lakhs. Now why am I telling you this entire story? So if you sum all these 4 broad items, so I saved approximately 21 lakhs not buying a car. I saved approximately 1.2 crores by not taking an educational loan. I saved approximately 2.82 crores by not buying a house. And finally, I saved approximately 21 lakhs by being frugal with my expenses just over in a decade. That is the power of compounding and that is the power of investing. I hope this proves the point. Now you would say, and you would jump to conclusion that, you know what, you are a very miser person. You would not be living your life. You can be a millionaire, but you will be a penny pincher. So you might not be spending money on anything. So before you jump to such conclusions, let me talk about a few key items on which I have actually spent money and that has given me really positive returns. So let me talk about those items one by one. So to get into INSEAD and a bunch of other different business schools, I hired an admission consultant. Back then, there were very few good admission consultants in India. So I hired an American admissions consultant who helped me write my essays, helped me improve with my writing. And guess how much did I pay for that person? I paid $5,000 to that person back in 2014. So it was a lot of money. It was like approximately 3.5 lakhs to an admission consultant. I undertook that expense. Now I don't have any financial model running here. All I would simply try to point out is that because I was able to get into INSEAD and a bunch of other top business schools, I got scholarship also. So of course the ROI there was justified. Again, going back to the lesson that my grandfather taught me that, hey, spend money on things or spend money on big ticket items only if they help you make more money. So how was I making more money? Because I realized that, hey, if I am able to get into, let's say, a top 5-6 program with the help of an expert, okay, fine, let me pay him because it might be really good for my career. Now, some of you would say that, hey, Akshat, you know what, you yourself become an admission consultant. Subsequently, probably you are lying, you are just trying to promote your service. No, I will in fact put a receipt, right? I'm happy to show it to you, not a problem. Just ask me in the comment, I will show that to you and prove it to you that I actually incurred that expense on an admission consultant. Subsequently, by picking a lot of lessons from him, I was able to learn new things. I became one of the top admission consultants in India subsequently. When I graduated from a top tier MBA program, that's another story that allowed me to start an entirely new business. But the bottom line is that I was not scared to make that investment. That is the first key expense that I undertook. The second key expense that I undertook was during my INSEAD journey itself. So during INSEAD, you get these options to go on treks, right? So for example, you can go and do Silicon Valley trek. You can go to Beijing on a trek back in 2014. I'm not talking about present day China where there is a lot of hate. So that's an entirely different story. So I paid approximately $3,000 to go on a trek for 5 or 7 days. There I met a lot of people, a lot of very interesting people. I made contacts with a lot of them. Subsequently, many of these people came on board when I started Cases Over Coffee and bunch of other different businesses. So that investment turned out to be fruitful for me, right? Again, if I would have been scared that, hey, $3,000 just for like 5 days, it's like too much money. No, I did not think that. Again, my grandfather's lesson came into the picture. Third expense that I undertook was to hire a McKinsey consultant who worked with me on $350 basis. Now, I don't know how many total hours I spent with him. I think I took somewhere around 6 to 8 hours of package with a McKinsey consultant who helped me understand more about case solving. Leveraging that training, I was able to get into top tier management consulting firms. But again, at that time, spending like $350 times 8, so again, approximately $2,700, $3,000 back in 2014, it was a lot of expense. I undertook that. Why? Again, because same concept that, hey, this big ticket item can help me eventually grow in my career and make more money. Fourth and final item is a fun item. So I got married in 2018. My wife and I usually travel out at least a couple of times outside India every year. This was somewhat our routine before the pandemic hit. And again, as and when borders open, we will continue with these plans. Now you would ask that, hey, what's the advantage of traveling abroad? So we do it for fun. So that's one, that's our hobby. That is what our fun money is. So I've talked about the concept of fun money on one of my earlier videos. I will link it here. Please go and watch it. So this is fun money for us, that we would like to travel just for personal growth. We get to witness new things, learn about new cultures and customs, and it leads to like personal and holistic development, so to say. So that is the reason why we spend money there. The idea why I was showcasing both where I saved money and where I've spent money was to give you a holistic picture of how you can prioritize your spending. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up and let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer those, and I will see you the next time.